What's going on, my friends? I'm Vio, and welcome to another episode of Nerds from Hell. And tonight I am joined by Mr. Papa Lafritas himself from Los Pendejos podcast. What's going on, man?
Not much, just excited here.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. It's really nice to have a platform to talk about this because I've been trying to look for people to talk to about Loki. And
Loki, yep, and it just so happens that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Give you guys my full review. All right, but before we get started, though, let me just say thank you to you guys who tuned in to the first episode of our podcast. Thank you again to J Rock from To the End of the Line podcast for making it happen, who just so happens to be behind the camera.
Oh, yeah.
All right, but before we get started, then tell us a little bit about yourself, man. What you got going on, or besides like the whole Loki thing that we're going to talk about, what else made you decide to come on?
Well, like I said, I wanted to give my input on the season. I loved every minute of it. What I have gone so far is, like you said, I do have a little podcast that I have on the side with me and my cousin and one of my buddies, talking about just random stuff.
Make sure you guys subscribe. Los Pendejos podcast. Yep, can't miss it.
Yeah, you can't.
Epic. Right, man. Well, before we get into it, let's go ahead. Get high as fuck. All right.
What are you guys smoking on today?
So this is some homegrown stuff. I couldn't even tell you what it's called.
Nice.
What do you got going on? Is that a pre-roll?
Yeah. What this is called is strawberry slush indica and
indica in the couch. My personal favorite. And yeah, so what are 5 things that you love most about Loki season 2?
Well, the first one I have to say that it's just Loki's character development.
Yes,
it was beautiful.
Yeah, I'm sure we can all agree here that Loki had the best character development in the MCU, starting all the way back from Thor, leading up all the way back until now.
Yeah, just to see him go from the god of mischief to where he is now is just so beautiful. And if you look in like past episodes, you can see all the building blocks of building him to what essentially this part is kind of controversy, is who he was at the end of Loki.
So who he became, basically.
Yes, yes, which that comes with my number 2, which is Loki becoming what I would like to believe is the MCU's version of the God of Stories.
Okay, then yeah, that's actually something that I've been hearing all around the internet as well. That's something that I don't want to say I can argue with, but there's also, I forgot the name of the source, but they were mentioning how Marvel has their own, I know you said this is the MCU's version, but they have their own actual God of Stories, like somebody who has the power to rewrite, history, timelines and whatnot.
Right.
Versus Loki kind of chose to instead protect them and bring them back,
Yeah.
So, and from what I was reading is that he kind of relates more to another fellow god named Atlas, who actually, in the Marvel comics, anchors all the universes together,
Right.
Similar to the way how in Greek mythology Atlas the Titan anchors the world.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I get, there's so many different ways you can go about it based on that finale. Wow,
yeah.
What a finale.
Yeah. Going back to that finale, I do know which one you're talking about the Atlas, and I read that one too, and I do agree with the person to a point, but like we said before, I do strongly believe that he's the God of Stories, just because he was able to stop time, freeze it, and talk to He Who Remains on that one scene. And the other thing that I really loved about that finale was the Yggdrasil, the world tree, being portrayed as the strands of the timelines.
Yes,
It
and
was so beautiful.
yes, and not many people would can catch that right away. But people who like yourself, who
Yeah.
loves Norse mythology, would catch it, and that's one of the first things that I noticed right away as he was putting the timelines together. The moment I saw that tree layout, I'm like, yup.
Yes.
Still don't know how to pronounce it, but
Yeah. Well,
So-
it's pronounced differently throughout. Like, who it depends on who you're talking to. Me personally, I say Yggdrasil. I've heard it said many different ways. But going back to that, you mentioned that I'm into Norse mythology. I'm actually a Norse pagan, so I follow
okay.
I follow that religion.
So you actually follow, like, worship the
Yes,
Norse. Okay.
yes, I worship
Nice.
Loki, Heimdall,
Wow.
Fenrir, all
Okay.
of them. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Which goes
That's amazing.
Yeah, which
Wow.
goes to my next favorite, which is again the finale, where you see Loki have on that throne with all those timelines in his hands.
Yes.
I immediately clicked to a story that's one of his stories,
Like
which
one of
involves
Loki's stories from actual Norse
the
mythology.
actual Norse mythology,
Oh,
which there is. It's called the Poetic Edda, and I don't want to say it's like our Bible, but it's basically the combination of all the Norse mythology stories, and that's where we get our main information. So in one of the stories, which is the second to last story of Balder being killed, Loki actually had a hand on that by giving the person that actually killed Balder an arrow that was laced with mistletoe, and that's how Balder died. And when the Aesir gods found that out, what they did to punish him was they locked him up at the bottom of Midgard, which is Earth, the deepest part of Earth, with chains and just with a whole bunch of chains chaining him down, and there he sits until Ragnarok. And I say that because if you look back to the final episode, he's sitting on a throne, and those strands look like chains. And it was just when I saw that, I just thought of that immediately.
That's a nice so you see that's like a direct
yes
image from
it just show how like Kevin Feige and just everyone there are just doing the research.
Yeah.
Like, it's so beautiful.
like they're telling their own story, but then they're paying respects to it at the same
Exactly.
time. So,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
really well
It's so beautiful. The next one I like was the one that we were speaking about earlier, was when I want to say it's episode 3, when they go back to old Chicago, and you see the North gods on those pillars. And I found it funny that Loki looked at them and looked at Balder, and he's all like I don't even know why he's up there. No one knows about him.
Mm-hmm.
In a one shot story that was about Loki, is called Loki Mischief of Lies. A beautiful book. It's a parallel universe to the 616, and it's basically my favorite part was Loki goes to Earth, and he finds a book and he reads it, and it's the Norse mythology, and he's wondering, like, how do they know all this? How do they know the story as well?
It's like some fourth breaking the fourth wall.
And I saw and I saw it right away when Loki was saying that, like, I don't even know why Balder's there. We don't even know who that is. When he said, no one knows who that is. Even they don't know who Balder is. Like, so it's just amazing.
So would you say that somewhere in the MCU, Loki went to Earth to kind of erase any history of Balder? You think that was a shot towards that story?
No, What I think is that it's just so beautiful with the stories that they're making. They could like pajito pajito. They could like switch it how you want it, and they're still like touching on the source material. So
Mm.
I thought of like Loki saying, "Oh, in my universe, we don't have a boulder. We don't even know who that is."
Yeah.
And from the very beginning of Marvel, I know there was a lot of fans that were saying, "Oh, that's not true to the story. That's not true to the story." Well, there's a multiverse, and that's their story. Like it if they were going by the comic books, we'll be here all fucking day,
Mhm.
and might as well just read the comics. But it's just so beautiful. I love what they did with the story, and I love how they portrayed the Norse mythology there.
I got a question for you guys. So with Loki season finale, being what it was, how do you guys feel about the fact that this is a way for them to bring in the OG6 Avengers? Is with Loki being with Yggdrasil, and now he can go back and pull, Iron Man and pull Black Widow and all the heroes that died. What do you think about that?
We were just talking of something similar to that, which goes back to the God of Stories. The main one of the main points that the redditor was talking about, that Vio was saying, was that if since he's the God of Stories, he's able to change everything. He can do whatever he wants. Why doesn't he? If he was that, why doesn't he make everything all better?
Because he can make it to where Tony Stark doesn't die from this.
Yeah, but see, I agree to that. Like, yeah, like he could do that, but then that just undermines the character development that he went through. Like he wanted freedom. He wanted his friends to have freedoms, and if he did that, in his eyes, he's taking that away. He's not letting them choose. He's choosing them that for that. So I think that he might do that, like bring back characters, but just for that moment, like a great crisis. Like if he does that for
like Secret Wars.
Yeah, Secret Wars and that. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he's gonna bring.
You wouldn't do it permanently.
Yeah, he won't do it because that was their choice. Tony Stark chose to sacrifice himself.
That's kind of how a lot of it went down in the animated versions of a lot of our favorite superheroes. I know in Spider-Man, the animated series, there was one episode where Madam Web, I think she pulls Captain America and a couple of other Avengers from different timelines to help him out in their current timeline. Right. So it could be something like that. At the same time, though, I can also, forgive me for saying this for all you Tony Stark fans, but I feel like it's just an excuse to bring him back. An excuse to bring the original lineup back because of the ongoing controversy with, the current phases of the MCU.
They're mainly doing it to get ratings back.
Right, yeah. I see, I could have just said that too. But I'm open to either direction they chose to go with from here.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Tony Stark back.
Well, RDJ's already agreed to come back.
Yeah,
and then Chris Evans has always been on record saying that he would come back, but the situation or the story would have to be perfect in order for him to come back this guy.
Yes, 100%.
I'm pretty sure they have no problem doing.
Yeah, but I don't mind any of them coming back, but just don't retcon what happened, because again, with Tony Stark and even with Black Widow, she made that sacrifice too. Like you can't cut off
back without destroying the story that
exactly.
They had. Yeah,
exactly. Even if it's just for a couple of movies or a couple of like episodes or whatever, bring them back. But then don't make it permanent, because
Well,
I think the perfect situation would be Secret Wars.
Yes.
So and not just Secret Wars, but that multiversal Avengers team has to be formed. So back to what you were saying about using them on a temporary basis. There you go. You know, the multiversal Avengers.
So, Neil, what about you? What's one thing that you like from Loki?
What didn't I? Shit.
It was all perfect.
Yeah.
From season 1, them laying the groundwork to the multiverse, and to season 2, the whole character development of Loki is just beautiful.
Yeah, one thing I would always be bragging about to a lot of my friends, trying to get them into the MCU is especially when it comes to understanding the multiverses, all that shit technically started with Loki, and the way how it does a really good job of explaining the multiverse, so that people, regular people, I guess, that are not nerds can understand.
Yeah.
Aside from that, but before I continue, check out their episode on their Loki review till the end of the line podcast, because they got some good shit, some good theories when it comes to bringing Stark back, when it comes to how they can do it and whatnot. Check it out, some interesting shit. Let me light this up, man. No, but time slipping. The way how we got to see him just master that new power that he has.
Oh, and that switch up that he did on He Who Remains, tricking him. Say it was so beautiful. And it was like, oh, you haven't learned how to control it, and then he talked, and then he's like, actually, I did. What makes you think that this is the first conversation? I was like, beautiful. There you go, the god of mischief.
My favorite thing about that is that he was letting He Who Remains keep going.
Yeah.
He was just waiting for the right spot
to
do it.
Yes.
It was so beautifully done.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about that, that finale was perfect, man.
Yeah.
The way how just that overall cinematography of the finale, him, holding all the timelines, seeing the timelines die, bringing them back to life was it just kept you watching, and it's just like, what the fuck? High talk.
What do you guys think of Sylvie's mullet? Fucking hate it. I cannot stand it.
I didn't mind it, man.
Really?
I didn't mind it at all.
I saw it. I was like, you know what came to mind? What movie was it?
Joe Dirt.
Oh,
Don't say Joe Dirt.
No.
Oh no!
It
wasn't that bad.
It was from Old School with
Sean William Scott,
when he gets shot in the neck. And that's what I pictured. I was like, dude, you got a fucking dark in your neck. So, I saw that and I was like, yeah, it's around that time. Yeah.
Man, another interesting thing that I loved is, throughout the entire MCU of Loki, if you think about it, he kind of wielded all the Infinity Stones, every single one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Master Time, obviously. The Power Stone. He had the Space Stone, literally in the palm of his hand.
Right.
And the Mind Stone with the scepter. So, and then reality, I guess that connection he was able to do with the other members of the TVA right at the finale, where he was trying to get them all together.
Oh yeah.
That's another interesting, fun little fun fact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't say this enough. Just like the sheer how Loki progressed was so nice, from him saying that, oh, I don't need anyone, like I can do this by myself, to that episode where he's like, I want my friends back. It was so beautiful. You really see that they really wanted us to see his evolution. It was real nice.
You think we'll see more of him?
Oh, that most definitely. Just because they're not gonna hint at the multiverse with Loki, making him in charge of it, and just put him to the side. Like no, I also think that either he's gonna come, if not on the Kang Dynasty, most definitely in Secret Wars.
Do you guys think there'll be a season 3, or that they'll just
No.
have him appear in
No, I think they finished the his story for the time being perfectly. It's like because
But
again it goes back to the character development. Like he's at what he needs to be. What else does he need to do?
the glorious purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I personally feel like this isn't the last we're going to see of Loki. Because, like you said, there's no way in hell they're going to introduce him as this god of, stories, god of time, or whatever, and just call it a day.
Right.
Spoiler alert, guys, if you haven't already seen the Marvels. So, just throwing a bunch of shit out there.
All right. Spoiler right here.
All of these new elements of the multiverse that we're getting now, it's out there. So I feel like Loki and the TVA are going to play a huge part in the upcoming events of Deadpool 3, being that it's the only movie that's set in 2024. And then with what happened, at the end of, before somebody over here gets offended, the mid-credit scene of the Marvels, what a fucking scene. Like, holy shit. Something that fans have only been fucking creaming their pants about. It's finally happening before our eyes. So obviously, we've seen Rambo land in this universe, right? A lot of people are saying that this is the Days of Future Past universe, the timeline that was created in the Fox universe. Yeah. Hence, probably the universe that Deadpool's going to destroy. I don't know, a bunch of different directions, a bunch of different ways it can go from here.
I don't know about you guys, but I didn't expect for them to give us mutants in the mid-credit scene. I was expecting just another teaser to it. Maybe like seeing Wolverine's cowl or Cyclops' vest or something. But I thought we were just going to get another really good teaser to the mutants. I did not expect to see full-on beast on the screen.
And I know damn well I'm not the only one here that right away thought, okay, obviously Monica's gonna have to go back to her own universe, and she's gonna fucking tell them about the X-Men. She's gonna tell them, there's mutants here. So that's probably gonna make the mutants from 616 come out of hiding. If they are hiding, who knows? But maybe there are no mutants. We'll see.
They down the groundwork for that because they hinted at Kamala Khan saying
that she was a mutant. Yeah,
and the same thing with Namor. I'm high as fuck, guys. Forget I said that. Man.
Oh yeah, I'm very excited about them finally starting to implement all the multi stuff.
Now, do you think the mutants are going to have their own saga, or do you think they're just going to have their own shows and movies? Because you know how they have the Infinity Saga, Multiverse, the Cosmic Saga is also in talks. Do you think they're going to have their own chapter?
I think they are just because.
I think so too,
because it might not be a whole saga like you said, the Infinity War. It's just something to introduce them to the MCU because we already know the mutants from from Fox. So what I think MCU is gonna do is just do little not cameos but their own movies, but have them just reintroduce the X-Men universe to the MCU.
The way I see it playing out is I think the mutants are gonna help close the multiverse saga and bridge it into the next saga. That's how I see it.
I feel like they're gonna have their own saga, kind of explaining what the fuck they've been doing this whole time. Where were they during the snap, during this, during that?
That'd be a good way to go.
Right. Yeah. And I can see them do, especially with what they did with Endgame with the whole time traveling thing. So I could kind of see them, piecing shit together like that.
Well, for that one, I think what I believe they're gonna probably do is since they started talking about mutants after Infinity Saga, I have a feeling they're gonna use the snap as the reason why the mutant gene.
That's a new one. I haven't heard of that
Mutant
one. Yeah.
gene activated. Because if you remember from Endgame, Rocket says that that the Infinity Stones, when they're used, they emit a certain radiation. So Thanos doing that close from Earth, they got hit with the most of it. So what if that activated
Well,
their X gene?
there was a theory going around about, I think Queen Ramonda even said it, that they don't know if T'Challa being that close to the Infinity Stones is the reason he got sick.
Mm,
Like that was a working theory that
yeah.
that may have caused what killed him.
Mhm.
For Black Panther, they're like they don't know.
Right.
So that I like that theory. They could go that route if they wanted to. Like it's a solid theory.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see if
Yeah.
that's what they do.
Yeah.
All right. So, real question. On a scale of 1 through 10, how would you rate, I guess, the accuracy from all the Norse mythology elements you saw in season 2? Well, you know what? No, I take that back. On a scale of 1 through 10, how would you rate, like, the entire MCU's, like, Norse mythology? Like,
Depiction.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um.
After
I mean,
season 2 of Loki.
rating. It goes back to like everyone has a different interpretation of Norse mythology. The issue with like it being like not as big as it once was is that Norse mythology wise is that we don't have many of the books that we had back then
I
that
could
gave
talk
us
all day talking about this.
that gave that the main like stories. It's all by ear. And that book that I actually was mentioned earlier, the Poetic Edda, was written by a Christian follower. So we're even warned from the start that, or not warned, but told that some of these might be embellished just because of the Christian mindset and the Catholic mindset. So by rating, I I personally loved it. How they added all the Norse mythology snippets, but not being like too close to the source material, because it just shows another way saying that, hey, this is our interpretation, this is our universe,
Well,
this
let me
is
ask you this: do you feel that they did it justice?
me personally. Yeah. Again, they changed a lot because they had to. They had to because in the original story of Loki, Hela, and Fenrir, they're all related. So Loki is the father of Hel, Fenrir, and Jormungandr, and another creature named Splendir, which is actually the horse that you see Odin riding when we first see him go into battle.
Okay.
That's also a sibling of Loki. Um, that's the original story, but the way MCU did it, it's very interesting. Um, to see the how they connected, uh, especially with the whole Hell and Odin connection, how they will work together. Odin did something similar to that in the Norse mythology. He assigned Hel to Helheim to keep her close. Oops, my bad. to keep her close, because of the prophecy that said that Loki's kids were going to be the end of Odin. So he wanted to keep all of them close.
Mm.
So Hel, he put her in charge of Helheim. So that I just love how that they interpreted that way. It was really nice.
Nice, man. What about you? I know you spoke about this on your podcast, but scale of 1 through 10, how would you rate Loki season 2? Well, as a series now that I feel like we're not going to get a season 3.
It's solid 10, man.
Easily.
Yeah. Easily 10.
And it's not just the fact that it's Loki and it's comic book. It was just so well done. Like,
Mhm.
well, it was well rounded. It was great script. It was great acting. It was great plot. Just everything about it. They knocked it out of the park.
Not just that, but all the way back to season 1. The way how season 1 ended, great way to kind of start the multiverse saga, and then this is just a way of it amplifying that.
Yeah.
I said it on my podcast. I'm like, if there was ever a way to say Marvel's back, it was with Loki. Absolutely.
Yes. As that was, like you said, it's one of the best storytelling I've seen them come out with. So beautiful.
And just the way that it's gonna set up projects to come.
Yes.
Awesome.
Exactly. Great way to like I said, great way to to start a bunch of things. Yeah. Well, I mean, anything else you got on Loki that you want to get off your chest, or?
Like I said, it was very beautiful. Storytelling was amazing. Their interpretation of the Norse mythology, I actually did love that. I felt really touched by them doing the research and incorporating it in there.
Yeah, like when you told me, like you know how your beliefs and all that, I'm like, what?
So in Norse mythology, we call each different god a pantheon. My pantheon I follow is Fenrir. The actual in MCU it would be the wolf that was next to Hel. But in Norse mythology, he's known as the Great Wolf. He is the son of Loki and Angry Boda. And he's also the brother of Hel and the world serpent, the Jormungandr, which is actually modeled by the snake that you have on, and also Ouroboros, which was another thing that I was amazed about. That they had Ouroboros and Loki just connect like the way they did. I just found so funny. It's like he's technically your son, and it was just so amazing.
One joke I did like that they did was how they showed him constantly going back to try to fix the loom before it got worse. But my favorite thing that they did was when Loki asked Obi, he goes, "How long would it take me to learn everything I need to know?" And Obi's like, "Decades." And then Victor Timing goes, "Centuries." And then they just go, "Centuries later." That was the best fucking way to do that. The absolute best way to do that. I was fucking laughing so hard.
Yeah, I loved it when he was talking timely up like
a straight up parent.
Yeah,
being so brave.
You're so brave.
Yeah, dude, that was the.
You got this. Shit. You got this.
Remember, don't put it down; it'll roll off.
Yeah. It was so funny. That's another thing I loved. It's just the slight humor. Yes,
was fucking spot on.
Yes,
their community.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. I can't get over the whole Alcatraz thing.
I was about to bring that out. I did not expect that.
I don't think anybody did. I feel like the writers are like, hey, what's a type of background we can give this guy that nobody would see coming?
And it was
the opposite of what
that's good. Yep, it was perfect timing.
Yep.
And you know that was actually they actually chose.
There's
actually 3 inmates that escaped Alcatraz that were never heard from again.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody.
And they used the actual names.
I'm sure everybody knows that. Come on, man. No, but I feel like the B.D. Cooper one was better though.
Oh yeah, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, that shit was clever.
And right when he was telling that story, I was like, wait a minute. No, yeah. I was like, this motherfucker, he would do something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, I think that's all that we have for Loki season 2. Thank you so much for talking to us about it, man.
Well, thanks for having me. I had really fun talking to people that have the same passion for the show.
Oh, of course. And like I said, you guys go ahead and follow him on his podcast under, you go ahead and say it. I feel weird saying it out loud.
Yeah. My gamer tag is Popular Fritas. You can catch me on my podcast with 2 of my greatest friends in the whole wide world. Now I forgot the fucking name. I am so high right now.
Good, man. Good.
But you
good.
can catch us on Los Pendejos podcast, or you can also catch me on my personal Twitch, Papa Lafritas, and I usually just play random games, also talk shit, just like in Los Pendejos. It's me, my cousin, and one of my best friends, and just talking about random shit. And interacting with the chat too.
No, yeah, man. Then we'll definitely see you on here again. Yeah,
most definitely.
I need another blunt. Hey. Oh shit! Oh snap!
And for that one, I had to drive about an hour to get.
An hour to get?
Yeah, just because I was good. The same place was the pop shop that I told you about.
Okay.
They're right next door, so I had to go pick up some pops, and I'm like, you know what? I'm running out of weed. Let me get this.
What the fuck is happening?
It's resin.
Oh shit! Dude, this guy just gave me a fucking moon rock, man.
Have fun. It's gonna be fun.
Well, this shit. Let's keep rolling then, man. Man. Anyways, all right. So that's it for Loki season 2. Like I was saying, you know, some of the upcoming things that we got going on is I definitely want to talk to you guys about my full Gen V review. What a fucking finale. Especially how it's gonna build up towards The Boys season 4. This is already hitting me. Holy shit!
I told you.
Damn. Yeah, moon rocks, you guys. Fucking wax, weed, Keith, all in one. Holy shit. As far as that goes, I mean, nothing much in the metal, community going on right now, man. Anything else you want to tell the audience?
No, just thank you for having me here. I had lots of fun talking to you guys. And if you want more crazy shit, yeah, please subscribe to this crazy man right here, and then my boy behind the camera. Made two of the most fun people I've ever talked to.
Yeah.
I tried, man. Alright.
So what else besides Denver you're gonna be covering Chucky, right?
Yeah, so I was gonna do a full review on Chucky season 3, but it's like one of those seasons where it stops, so I'm sharing this with you. It's one of those seasons where it kind of stopped halfway, like the mid-season finale. Like what I've seen so far, like it great. It's a great show, definitely different. I know you guys are watching it now, so I'm not going to say too much about it, but definitely excited to see the second half of the season, man. Hopefully by then we can all talk about it and shit.
Yeah, I'm definitely hopping on Chucky. That was the very first movie that my parents showed me, horror movie. I think I was 6. And wow. from there I was like, it's my favorite one.
Yeah, I feel like it's an underrated show, man. Like, man, I'm pretty high. But it's been a while since I had some resin, you guys. I'm not even gonna lie. Man, like I said, I don't even know if I said this in the previous episode, but huge fucking pothead, as you can tell, huge fucking pothead. If there's some shit you guys want us to smoke, man, like a certain strain or anything like that, let us know, man. Put it in the comments. Like open to try some new things. If there's, we're here to have a good time, here to have, some laughs. So, yeah. But yeah, that's all I got for tonight, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, please subscribe. Go ahead and look up J-Rock from Till the End of the Line podcast. Hit a like, hit subscribe, all that good shit. Go ahead and follow Los Pendejos podcast. Check them out when you guys get a chance. Until then, see you fuckers in hell.